Threads and processes are a bit simpler to examine than async tasks in the textual debugger. I'll start with a simple threading example that runs two threads that communicate through a thread queue. The code can be found in the GitHub repo for TDB. This is a pretty simple program. It has just two processes, a producer that adds strings to a queue, and a consumer that picks them up. So here's the queue put, the queue get. I'm going to first run the program without any breakpoints so you can see what the output looks like. The items that are being put on the queue are just strings named item 0 through item 4. I'm going to hit Shift R, so capital R, to restart the program. This time I'm going to put breakpoints in the producer right after it adds an item to the queue. And I'll hit continue, C to continue. This time, notice the Threads tab has a count after it. So it says 3 threads are running. If I click on this, it'll open up a modal that has the 2 threads that I created, plus another one for the main program. If I click on any of the named threads, I can see the calling stack, the line number where it paused, and the local variables for that task. Even though I only have a breakpoint in the producer, the consumer also stops because when I pause the program, all the threads stop. So the consumer has also picked up item 0. I'm going to hit Q to get out of that modal and hit N a few times. So even though only the producer is being stepped through, the consumer is also running. Let's take a look at some of the, see if the consumer also has the same item that the producer most recently put on. And it has. That's pretty much it for this simple example of threads. I'm going to now go to multiple processes using the multiprocessing module. This is also a simple program. I've got a small function that pretends to do some computationally intensive work. And in the main program, I'm setting up a pool of workers. Even though my machine has a lot more than 6 cores, I'm going to limit it to just 6 worker processes, and there are 8 tasks. I'm going to pass one of these numbers one at a time to this function for it to do work. So 6 processes, 8 jobs that need to be done, and the pool will figure out how to do that load balancing. So again, like the threading example, I'm going to hit C just to run it all the way through. It did the 8 items. And I'm going to restart the program. So Shift R. This time I'm going to put a breakpoint at the return point of the process that's going to be running. I'm going to hit C to continue. And this time the processes tab has a count after it. It has 8, even though I only created a pool of 6 workers. Let's take a look at what's in there. The processes tab is it requires a little bit of patience because it has to fetch memory from each of the separate processes, and that takes more time than inspecting threads or async tasks. So when you pop this open, let me do it again. When you click on this, it'll say loading, and that loading step sometimes can take a long time. So a little bit of patience is required. If I click on any of these, I'll move to the process that's represented by that process ID. And I can see the internal variables for each of those processes. It'd be nice if I was able to name the processes more than Python 3. Maybe I'll figure that out one day. And that's pretty much all I have to show for viewing the contents of threads and processes in TDB.